Joining us now with all the etiquette tips is our etiquette expert, Christy Spencer from The Polite Company. Welcome back, Christy. Great to see you.
Thanks for having me.
Yes. So today we're talking about empowering people to say no at certain times. What do we need to know about manners in this regard?
I think one thing to remember is that being polite doesn't mean you're a pushover. So we can really use some of our manners to decline and to say what we really think. Sometimes we just have to say it politely.
Interesting. Okay. So share more, like how do we do that? What are the steps? What do we need to keep in mind?
So let's say that somebody invites you to a party and you just don't want to go. So what you can do is you get that invitation,
Sure.
and then you give it a moment, but not too long, and then you want to respond in a timely manner, and you just say, thank you so much for the invitation, but we won't be able to attend. Now, giving a reason sometimes is what people feel compelled to do. If your reason is that you just don't like these people and you don't want to go, don't give that reason.
Right, yes,
Okay,
don't
all
say
right.
that.
As long as you can
Good.
give a reason honestly, it's fine to do that. So even if that reason is we are just so busy right now, we need to have some more family time, even if that's not a conflicting event, but you
Right.
can just say that and let them know and let it rest there. And then it's pretty likely that you're going to get another invite down the road.
Right.
But if you don't make that, give them just a little bit of reason, they're probably going to mark you off their guest list.
Yeah, and that's
Okay.
okay, right?
Right,
I mean, we should-
especially if you want to be marked off
Yeah,
their guest
yeah,
list.
for sure.
Right, right. So, okay, this is not really about being invited somewhere, but let's say you don't want to engage in gossip, right? And the people around you are gossiping. How do you kind of stop that?
Nip it in the bud.
Yeah, how
right,
do you nip that?
Right. So there's really three ways that you can do it. One, you can just change the subject and you can say, oh man, isn't it hot outside? You know, when you hear that, and you can be very subtle in that or
Redirect,
not subtle
yeah.
at all, depending on the person and how many times that they've done that. The other thing you can say is you can just kind of question them and say, Jason, he said that? That really doesn't sound like him. He must have been having a bad day.
It does sound like Jason.
But it does, but
Not
it
to
does.
talk about
I'm
Jason.
I'm the office gossip. Yeah.
And then the other thing is just turn it around and say, you know what? I have too much to work on myself to think about so-and-so's love life or, you know, what they did at the office. And just kind of stop it there. When people see that you're not going to engage in that, that really takes the punch out of it.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
Let me ask this. So, you know, we're kind of in back to school time because everybody's busy with all kinds of activities regarding that. But let's say you're invited to a party or you were invited to an event where maybe a present is expected, but you don't want to go or you don't want to get a gift. Like, how do you politely decline that? Is it just a matter of saying, we're not going to join you this time?
Yes, it is an expectation if you're going to somebody's home or you're going to something where there will be a gift expected or a thank you expected, that you perform that duty. So if you're not willing to do that, it's best just not to show up. If you show up and you didn't realize that that was an expectation, you can always send something later.
Okay.
That's good to know because I have found myself in those situations and you feel so awkward. You're like,
Yes,
everybody
almost
else brought something
embarrassed,
in.
right.
Yes,
Yeah.
absolutely.
So, okay, another question. So, how do you give and receive compliments? This is something I've always wondered because I get uncomfortable sometimes. Or if somebody compliments me, I feel like I have to say something back,
Yeah.
right?
Right.
So,
and
how
kind
do
of
you kind of
diminish it a little bit.
Right, or like, no, I'm not a supermodel.
Right,
Stop.
right,
Right.
yeah.
How do you do that?
So I think the best thing is when you get a compliment, the thing that you say is thank you. And just let that lie. That gives that person the acknowledgement that they really did say something nice to you. And then when you give a compliment, make sure that it's spontaneous and it's genuine. So if you always meet somebody and say, oh, hi, how are you? I love your shirt.
Right.
That is not genuine. A genuine compliment is something that you say not as part of your normal routine.
Oh, that's good. That's a good thing to keep in mind.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah,
great.
it
And if
lands
people-
lands a lot more genuine on
Right.
the other person as well.
Yeah, and on the ears, and it feels more genuine, absolutely, when you're not like, good morning, I love your hair, right? Like,
right.
it's just kind of normal thing to say. So if people want to reach out to you and they have questions about etiquette or needing to feel more empowered, how do they do that?
My website is thepolitecompany.com, and that's the best way to get a hold of me.
Okay, that's it. That's where you got all your tips posted. You can see it right there, politecompany.com. Great website. Christy, as always, thanks for joining us and reminding us of how we can be empowered, and it is okay to say no in the polite way to do it. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. Oh man, I'm laughing at myself. Good morning.
Good morning,
like
I love your hair.
Yes. I know. It's just a normal thing to say in the morning. right?
Average day.
I'm going to practice. Okay, I like your green shirt.
Thank you.
See, that's good.
See, but
It's-
it's always like you feel like you have to say something
I
back.
wanted
like,
it to
I
reciprocate.
like your pocket tie.
Yeah. Oh,
or
thank
pocket
you. Pocket square.
square.
Yes. I'm going to call it a
Pocket
pocket
square.
tie from now on, though. That will stick with me.